to have direct interaction with the federal government. The whole concept of federalism was that the states employ the federal government. The federal government works for the states. And the interaction is supposed to be with the states and the federal government, not with the people in the federal government. And so when they pass the Income Tax Act now, the forced interaction is a little thing called a Form 1040. Either you file your income tax or they can prosecute you for willful failure to file. Or if you file and make a mistake, or even if you don't make a mistake and they claim you made a mistake, they can still prosecute you. This forced interaction must end. So the second major push that I'll have from the floor of the United States Senate is I'm going to, and I'm very disappointed, by the way, in the Congress right now, okay? A Republican-controlled Congress still has not eliminated the Department of Education. Congress has failed this country over the years by advocating its responsibility to the federal government, letting presidents, by executive order, do stuff. You don't take the Department of Education out, as soon as Trump's gone, the cancer will return. But I will push for the elimination, not just of the Department of Education, but of the Internal Revenue Service. It's got to go. The federal income tax system has to go. Yes. We know that one of the purposes of tariffs is to bring industry back into this country. I've been in Cabarrus County, Concord, Kannapolis, and I asked the question, where's our textile industry? Then up in the High Point area, the question is, where is our furniture industry? My own hometown, Plymouth, we had a big Weyerhaeuser plant, and we only got about 5,000 people in the town. It employed 3,500 people. Now it's down to 300. Where's our pulp and paper industry? I tell you what happened. The Democrats passed a thing called NAFTA under Bill Clinton, and most favored trade nation status, and made China part of the World Trade Organization. You put your principal potential economic competitor on steroids. How crazy is that? And we wonder why the Clinton administration seems to have gotten so much money from China. But I can tell you this, if you eliminate the individual income tax and the corporate income tax, these companies will come flying back into the United States so fast that it will make your head spin. And we have to have visionary thinking in order for this to happen. How many members of the Congress or the Senate are talking this way? You might be able to count one or two, maybe Rand Paul, maybe Mike Lee, who knows? But we've got to go to war to do this. Second thing I want to talk about is the issue of medical freedom. Medical freedom. As you know, we went through this whole scam with COVID, under which one day Fauci is telling us don't wear the mask, the next day he does 180 to wear the mask. Where they are telling us you got to take a jab or lose your job, even though that jab is under an emergency use authorization. During that period of time, let me put this, you won't see me wearing a mask in a photograph unless that photograph is doctored by artificial intelligence. Now, and I got into debates during the time with a guy named Jerry Valancourt, who was the voice of the Charlotte Hornets, the play-by-play guy. He's a big Democrat, a big mask guy, a big this guy. Well, Jerry Valancourt went to see Jesus. I say that because everybody will get to see Jesus, because every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess, no matter where we wind up. He went to see Jesus suddenly. But during that period of time, I got involved in some federal litigation against Biden's unconstitutional mandates, especially the vax mandate. We were approached by a number of nuclear engineers at the Savannah River plant down in Aiken, South Carolina. And what had happened is Biden had told his Department of Energy was going to cut the money to the Savannah River plant and to its principal contractor unless they forced their employees to take this experimental jab. So we went to court against them. We took them to court first in Columbia, South Carolina, the federal court there, and wound up in the Fourth Circuit in Richmond before Biden finally backed down, not because of my brilliant lawyering, but the political winds were blowing against him. But there is a moral to the story. Sometimes, as my daddy said, the best ability is stickability. But one of the things we discovered, and I want you to hear me this, during the course of this litigation, we pulled some of the government's own statistics. They have a database called VAERS. Anybody heard of VAERS before? Yes. VAERS is the government's voluntary adverse reaction system reporting system. It has been called the gold standard. And we have had the government shut down multiple vaccination programs over a relatively small number of adverse reactions, sometimes paralysis, sometimes death, something else. Well, hear me now. From January of 2021 until October of 2021, there were more deaths. Now, this is the God's honest truth. There were more deaths reported from the 3 COVID vaccines in that 10-month period than from every other vaccine combined over 30 years. And your crooked government and your despicable deep state communist media hid that from you. I wouldn't have known it myself unless I had a reason to know it. But I'm going to push for medical freedom. The government should not, no government and no private employer should be forced, you should have to choose between your job and having some experimental jab under an emergency use authorization put in your body. Shouldn't have to worry about them saying you got to take a little microchip here because this is the way we're going with central bank digital currency or whatever. There must be medical freedom. I will push for a vaccination and mask Federal Protection Act so that this can never happen again, and provide other protections for Americans to avoid the type of communist tyrannical takeover that we saw where many Americans have been harmed and died. Ask Megyn Kelly now what she thinks about the jab when she was pushing it before.